project for Module 6, Assignment 2, Final Reflection Video Presentation. For Module 1, we looked at risk behaviors in youth, and they talked about athletes, risky behaviors by minorities and athletes, and the risky behaviors included drinking, drug use, and suicide. Students who played sports at a higher level had higher levels of drinking, but coupled with that, kids who had higher self-esteem counteracted that and had less drinking. Module 2, we looked at how increased physical activity can increase academic performance, improve mental health, and helps anxiety. Research has shown that when students increase their physical activity, test scores increase and behavioral issues decrease. Exercise is a natural antidepressant and it helps with anxiety. Module 3, we looked at how increased choices by students increases their engagement during PE. How and when we give students choice during PE can vary. It could be choosing the activity to participate in, how many reps they'll perform during a fitness time, or what type of intensity level of game they want to participate in. Module 3, this module focused on differential instruction. One article focused on the difference between brain development between boys and girls and was very interesting. And I've always known that boys and girls develop differently, but the fact that they hear differently, I was not aware of. Also, knowing your students can help you identify strategies, their strengths and weaknesses, and to better help them learn. Module 5 focused on classroom management. How do you set up the gym to promote the most learning, the routines required to help ensure safety, quick transitions, easy distribution, and cleanup of equipment. And the last module focused on why PE is the most important class that students can take, and how SEL, social emotional learning programs, can help students thrive in school and use of technology in the PE setting. My wows for this class, one was kids who played sports had that higher levels of drinking, which I kind of figured out. I kind of thought I knew that, but I didn't realize the higher self-esteems, kids with higher self-esteem would balance that out and had less drinking. It isn't sports that keep the kids from drinking, but it's the self-esteem, which makes sense, but I think this is an important fact that we should know, because many people think that, oh, if your kid's in sports, they don't do drinking, they don't do drugs, things like that. But really, it's the opposite. They get together, they party as a team. It's that self-esteem that prevents that risky behavior. The other second wow I had was exercise is that magic pill that everyone is looking for. Exercise releases an amazing amount of neurochemicals and other growth factors that increase our brain function. Exercise optimizes your mindset, improves your alertness and motivation. It also helps cells bind together and help to hold information. And another benefit of this exercise is it helps create new cells in the hippocampus of the brain. And this is important because I think so many times often when budgets get pinched, we cut PE thinking it's not as important, but truly it is the most important. It's going to help with the reading, it's going to help with the math, it's going to help with the behaviors. And so we really need to make that PE class on a higher level. Another wow I had was that choice. And I've always known giving kids a choice is important, but I didn't know how I would make that happen in PE. And I got some really good ideas during this class. Like, for example, doing interval stations, and when it comes time to do push-ups or crunches, challenge them as many as they can. That's their choice. Another one with me is letting decide when they should go to the next skill level. So maybe they're just, I think of volleyball, that I tell the kids when they start at, say, the 10-foot line for overhand serving, and then when they get comfortable, they move back 3 steps, and then when they get comfortable there, they move back 3 steps until they make it to the end line. Giving kids those choices really is helpful. And I love the one I really took away from this unit was the idea of having a competitive court, let's have fun court, and I'm a beginner court. And I really like this because usually it's like a competitive, or I know what I'm doing and I don't know what I'm doing, but I love the fact that there was the let's just have fun court, because some kids are very competitive and others just really just want to have fun. And the really just want to have fun shouldn't be stuck with the kids that don't know what they're doing. And it's no fun for those kids that are don't know what they're doing to be stuck with the kids that are competitive, because they just end up standing on the court watching everything happening. 4 was fascinating for me. This wow was I really got into the article about the brain development and the differences. For example, males have 35 less percent hearing than girls due to the length of their cochlea. Females are better at listening and memory skills because of the stronger neural connectors in the temporal lobes. The male brain attends better to lessons taught using symbols, facts, graphs, pictures, and objects moving through space rather than lessons taught using the monotony of words. And females transition more quickly because they have fewer attention problems. And the corpus callosum in the female, which sends signals between the two halves of the brain, is 26 larger than in the male. And I think this is super important for us as teachers to realize, like they talked about, where are the boys sitting in the class? Are they closer to you? Are they farther away from you? The fact that you can't just tell your directions, which I knew that, but I always have my lessons. I verbally tell them it's up on the slide so they can see it. And I've really started incorporating pictures to help the students know exactly what to do. And my signal, for example, for getting quiet, not only do I count backwards from 5, but that I ding at when I get to 1. So they also have another, I guess, signal for kids to be quiet, and that has really helped this year. And I took from my teaching team member that when she gets to ding, then she decides, like, was that a crispy stop? Was that a mushy stop? And I really enjoyed doing that, and the kids respond really well to it. So, 5, my 5th wow. I knew, because I just know, because teaching in a classroom, there's a lot of things that go into that classroom management. But PE has some different things that you really need to think about. Like, there aren't desks for kids to sit in, so how are you going to do the roll spots? How do you convey those classroom expectations? For me, I think it would be part slideshow, part when they're doing an activity, have the instructions both verbally and a picture to show what is expected of students. How do I get their attention? It's in a gym, it's loud, it's big, lots of kids, making sure they know those start and stop cues really well. What are the procedures and routines? I mean, I know in my classroom, the kids come in, they sit down, they get out their notebook, they put everything else on the floor, they write in their table of contents. So, in a gym setting, what do you do when you enter the gym? Where do you turn things in? Because there probably isn't a lot of turn in, so that's something they need to know when you actually have some things to turn in. Most importantly, the equipment protocol. How do we distribute? How do we clean up? How do we do that efficiently so A, kids aren't running around the gym, causing problems, and B, I'm not picking up after them when the PE is done.